Hello, Tys.
What's happening, Nicholas?
Oh, I've had a day, Tys.
It's been a day?
It's been one of those days.
Well, do you know what makes it one of those days excellent?
Yeah.
Doing some podcasting.
A bit of podcasting.
Yes.
And especially because it is like shitstorming outside. It is
it
is a
isn't
mad storm outside. Yeah. So I don't know. It feels kind of warmly. Anyway.
It is. Well, this is Nick Tys and Videotape, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode number 64, I believe. 64.
Oh, it's 64. Okay, yeah.
Nick Tys and Videotape, I think it is. And today, we're talking about, the Tony Scott film from 2004, I think. I didn't check.
2004, yeah, correct.
Man on Fire, which was, this is an odd choice.
Look, you threw me off when you picked it.
It was really strange. I was just I was looking through stuff that I kind of wanted to do, and nothing was taking my fancy. And all of a sudden, I just saw it and went, "Yeah,
Man on Fire.
Why not? Let's do that." And so here we are. 2004's Man on Fire, starring Denzel Washington, directed by the late great Tony Scott.
Do you feel Tony is maybe the better of the two now?
Well, maybe let's talk about that a little
later. Talk about it later?
Yeah, because that might have been something I wanted to mention. Get your opinion on.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers.
I like that.
But Nick, why don't you tell people where they can find us, buddy?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, since you are listening to us, you've obviously found us. But if you would like to follow us, we would love that too.
We would.
And that's where social media is quite handy. Even though I feel like everyone's losing Facebook. Everyone's like, nah, don't look at it. But everyone secretly does. But you can find us on Facebook. We are under Nick Tys and Videotape.
We are indeed.
You can find us on Instagram. We do chuck up all the posters up there and all things like that. We tweet a couple of things. We are on Twitter. And if you are one of those people who, I don't know what a podcast is, I'm not a real big fan, you can find us on YouTube. So if you do have that relative that I do who doesn't listen to podcasts but watches a shit out of YouTube,
well,
tell them to go on there.
Send them our way.
Yeah.
That'd be fantastic. Well, but before we do any of our other nonsense, Nicholas, I think maybe we should talk some trailers.
Let's talk some trailers.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking trailers.
So we had to. It may have seemed like we got to talking trailers quickly today, because I'm in a rush to get to talking trailers.
Okay.
Because this has been the best week for trailers in an extremely long time.
Extremely long time.
And what I'm loving about this is it's not just trailers for big movies.
No.
It's really good trailers. Like, they are awesome, some of these things, man.
Really diverse as well. You got a mixed bag here. Really
Such a mixed bag.
Yeah. Where should we start? Where do you
I think the most pressing, because if I had to pick a favourite of them all,
let's start at the top.
Let's start at the top, and it's the Halloween.
It's the Halloween
sequel, remake, reboot, whatever it is, whatever they want to call it.
Everyone in my family turns into a nutcase this time of year. Yeah, I mean, your grandmother is Laurie Strode. She was almost murdered.
Wasn't it her brother who murdered all those babysitters?
No, it was not her brother. That's something that people made up.
Do you know that I pray every night that he would escape?
What the hell did you do that for?
So I can kill him.
Dad, look out!
The bus crashed.
Mom, what bus crashed?
Michael escaped.
Excuse me, somebody's in here.
Hello?
He's waited for this night. He's waited for me. I've waited for him.
Get out of the room! Get inside!
You don't believe in the boogeyman?
He's here!
Michael! You should.
Yeah.
This trailer was excellent.
This was really good, wasn't it? This was a scary fucking trailer.
Oh my God, was it scary?
I know. And who's directing this thing, Ty?
So this is directed by David Gordon Green, who we've discussed a little bit because it comes up quite often, and it has been also mentioned on the Facebook by your good friend,
my cousin, who has done the...
Who is it that keeps cracking it, that we bitch and moan at him for recommending that Prince Avalanche movie?
Avalanche, yeah. Zach, we love you. Zach is the man who has done our beautiful theme music, which everyone is a fan of.
Yeah, exactly. We love Zach.
Especially me and Tys.
It just makes me laugh so much that movie ends up coming up so often.
Fucking hell, I hate it. No one watched this thing.
But, yeah, so David Gordon Green, who is I quite enjoy as a director. I think he's a strange choice for this.
But that's what I like.
Yeah, me too. But even stranger choice, I believe, is, of course, the Danny McBride as the screenwriter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we did. We've mentioned this before, haven't we?
Yeah, which is just bonkers. But I'm with Blumhouse now. Blumhouse is kind of... I'm really a big fan of what they do now, to be honest, because they're really great in the projects that they choose. Like, they're bringing... Like, I can't imagine another studio financing something like Get Out. Like, I just can't see it happening. And, like, I just loved that movie so much. It would be such a shame that to have it never have existed. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm on board for these guys, and this looks killer. Like, really great.
It really does. And I was so skeptical because I'm such not only a diehard fan of the first, the John Carpenter original, but also probably one of the only fans of the Rob Zombie remake. And then this thing's going to come out, and I'm like, well, fuck. Well, there's a rad box set right there. My God.
That's actually not a bad box set. Just the first ones of each of them. Like, so
how good is that?
This one is apparently ignores everything except for the first film.
Wow. Okay.
So none of the sequels exist in this universe. It is just the first movie happened. He got shot at the end and taken away, and so number 2, all the stuff that happens in the hospital doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. The weird stuff with the cult that all that. None of that happens.
The witch, all that shit.
Doesn't happen. Nothing. None of that happens.
Wow.
And what we get instead is like fucking Jamie Lee Curtis going all Sarah Connor on us.
Yeah, just waiting for him.
Just basically,
just training. Ready for him to come. Training and ready for him to come out of the hospital, because she's like, in that trailer, she was like, well, he's going to get out eventually. There's no way that you're going to hold him.
She's so aware that it'll
happen.
It'll happen at some point. I loved the production design of this thing. That hospital courtyard thing,
scary as hell.
That was really, really fucking. The design on that was so good. And, like, just the moments with the dog barking and the weirdos kind of cackling around him and holding the mask up in the air.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that. I was like, what's going on? Why would you do that? And if dogs bark and crazy people start doing that, you would stop whatever it is you're doing.
But it's giving it that kind of weirdly supernatural quality, but not, that I think the Halloween movies do really well, because even though he's not... it's arguable later that whatever he is, he could be some kind of weird Jason-esque kind of zombie. But in the first couple, the first 2, he is just a guy, but he has this supernatural quality, because he is that unstoppable force.
Exactly.
So I think it's really cool how it's kind of matched that. It's made it so that it's kind of like, is there something supernatural here? Not just a crazy dude who puts on a mask.
Puts on a mask and chops up people. Yeah, absolutely. And hands down for, like, this, you're right. So this is actually the best trailer that we watched, because as far as trailers go, Tyson, this had it all. Like, that drop of when the music started, when he put that on, my God, that was
so effective. And God, you just, like, it's such a great piece of music. Like, it is so evocative, and to hear it just kick in at that moment, and you see him walking around fucking Haddonfield or whatever.
During Halloween,
it just doesn't it just like, it just does something. It just gets into your bones. Like, you're just like, oh.
It's equal parts action as it is, like, scary. Like, you're like, okay, let's go.
Yeah,
but also in the back, you're like, oh, this is a little full on. Okay, maybe not. I'm going to pass. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and there were little moments that, as much as I feel like this could be like Scream-esque levels of success, I think, about this movie when
really?
I see it. Yeah, I don't know what it was about watching that trailer. I was like, this might be the slasher that we've been waiting for to...
Yeah.
Because there hasn't really been, I mean, post-Scream, what has been the slasher that we've all bonded around. Like, there's been ones that have been like moderately successful, like maybe something like I don't know, like the Hatchet series, maybe.
Yeah,
but,
or Sinister did quite
but
okay,
they're not the same. It's not that slasher.
It's
not that same slasher vibe.
Yeah,
like
it was too supernatural almost.
Yeah,
Everyone went into a supernatural phase.
We
and
really
the slasher
did.
thing kind of took a rest for a while. But yeah, you're right. This could boost it back. Which would be great, because if this gets in a different crowd, which obviously it will, there are a lot of teenagers who don't know about Halloween yet, and they're going to find out through this, which is fucking awesome.
Well, I think I remember, I might have told this story on the show already, but there was, during Halloween at my school, I remember asking some Year 12 kids, so not like young kids born who, like, so Year 12 last year, they were born in like 99, right?
Jesus,
and I was like, yeah, like, do you guys, get together and watch Halloween or something like that? And they're like, watch what? I'm like, Halloween. And they're like,
film.
They're like, yeah, the holiday, the thing. I'm like, no, the movie, Michael Myers with the white mask and the knife, and they are looking at me like I'm speaking another language.
Jesus
so
Christ.
This might be the thing that brings it back into the consciousness, and that's so great.
That's awesome.
I'll tell you what,
man. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I'm really pumped, man. I loved this trailer. It was so good to see Jamie Lee Curtis again.
Yeah,
a bit of Will Patton. Surprise, Will Patton. I was pumped for that.
Out of nowhere. It totally was, wasn't it? I was like, oh, okay, shit, let's go with this.
And Judy Greer, a bit of Judy Greer as well.
Judy Greer, yeah, I don't mind Judy Greer, but yeah, Jamie Lee, she's taken on the she's not as Hollywoodized looking. She's not clean cut with.
I really like that they haven't tried. Like, she is an old lady now, and
she's an old lady now. And they've embraced that.
They
and
have.
She's like, I'm like, fuck, she just
looks like an old lady, but she looks like she's going to kick some real fucking ass.
She's going to blow you the fuck away.
Yeah,
exactly.
and I'm a bit
when
excited
she cocked the shotgun, I was like, oh fucking Jesus Christ.
I'm pumped for this, man. I'm really pumped for it.
I'm excited.
Great trailer. I don't know if we've got to move on because we've got so many. But,
we do. What's the next one? What do you want?
Let's talk. God.
Let's switch it. Let's flip the coin and do A Star Is Born.
All right, let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
You know, man, in the old days, I always knew, like, you were going to do something, that you'd be all right. It's the first time I'm worried about you.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Okay.
Tell me something, girl.
Do you write songs or anything?
I don't sing my own songs.
Why?
I just don't feel comfortable.
Why wouldn't you feel comfortable?
Almost every single person has told me they liked the way I sounded, but that they didn't like the way I look.
I think you're beautiful. Hey.
What?
I just want to take another look at you.
Because I've never seen the original. I'm not a huge Barbra Streisand fan.
Well, that's not the original. So
that's not the original.
No, there's actually. Oh, I might be incorrect by saying so, but there's definitely a Judy Garland one from the 50s.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if there's even one more before that, but I might be
Jesus
making
Christ,
that up.
You're right. Yeah. So there's 1937.
Yes.
Janet Gaynor.
Yeah.
Then 54, Judy Garland. Jesus, this thing has been remade to the nines. And then 76 is Barbra Streisand.
Is the Barbra Streisand one. So, yeah, so basically they're all similar stories.
Right.
It's all about the over-the-hill faded star who falls in love with the new young up-and-comer and helps them on their career, and they end up falling in love with each other.
Right.
I'll tell you what, man. I kind of watched this out of just like I thought I just kind of had to. I was just like, all right, cool, yeah. I guess we'll see what this is like.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed this trailer. I thought it was surprisingly moving.
Yeah.
And
I'll agree with that.
I think Bradley Cooper is convincingly haggard, which
He does,
enjoying.
Doesn't he? He's got the skin down. Whatever they've done to his skin.
I was a bit funny
dude,
when I heard it was him because I'm like, I don't think he's the right kind of. I want someone crustier and a bit messier. I think he's doing it. He looks really great. I think the music is really good. I think what original music I've heard so far sounds okay.
Yeah, it's got a real, which I know you're a fan of because we've talked about it before. Is God damn it. The Heart. What is it?
Crazy Heart.
Crazy Heart. That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it does.
It's got a real feel for Crazy Heart in there.
It does. It looks really reminiscent of it. Super. I will say this one thing.
Go on.
And it might just be that I'm not a huge fan in general.
Okay.
I kind of wish it was somebody other than Lady Gaga.
Look, in saying that, and I knew that that's where you were going, in saying that, in that trailer, she was holding her own. But that's just a trailer.
She was holding her own in the acting side of things. I like that it's, and this is this thing, man, like, no offense to... There are people who have self-esteem issues, and I'm in no way disregarding that. But I can't buy anyone that says, people want to hear my voice, but they don't want to look at my face. Yeah. And it's Lady Gaga. Like, she's gorgeous. You know what I mean? Regardless, I know she looks very different when she's not fully made up. Absolutely. She's still stunning. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so you look at it and you're like, yeah, okay, sure.
It's really funny. Go.
No, you go.
So it took me a while. I didn't click that it was Lady Gaga because it obviously doesn't come up with her name at the start. The start credits is Bradley Cooper directing, which for me, I was like, oh, okay, and you're starring. All right, maybe biting off a little more than you could chew, especially because it's your only second outing, or first, really. And then it was Lady Gaga, and I was like, oh, okay, I could see, okay, I'll give this a chance because I'm not a huge fan of singers acting, only if they can or can't do it or whatever. Like, I'm not a huge fan of JT's acting work. I love his singing, though. Don't get me wrong. But I'll give it a chance. And this is where I was like, wow, that actually worked. At the end of it, I was like, no, I would watch that. I would absolutely watch that.
Yeah, I would totally, I'm...
Because it pulled at the heartstrings.
It really did.
Throughout the kind of little montage that you get throughout the song, you're getting glimpses of dramatic scenes. And a lot of trailers do this. We've seen this a billion times before. And this one worked really well.
Yeah, it absolutely worked really well. I actually was already convinced in their relationship by the end of the trailer.
Yeah, that's so true.
I was convinced in their chemistry, and I was like, that's pretty impressive to do after such a short amount of time. Yeah. My only other thing, and it's still Lady Gaga related, I wish it was another country singer. Because it feels really weird to me that he's a country star, like he's doing this really nice folky country stuff, and then she's singing her big pop,
yeah,
like
and
pop
that's the thing.
riffs
like
and
when
stuff.
Her first,
and I'm like,
her first notes out of her mouth were very, whoa, and I was like, oh,
yeah, exactly.
Oh, we could have picked something else.
I just hope it doesn't hurt it in the long run. Like, well, I mean, I hope it doesn't hurt my enjoyment, and that might be very selfish, but wouldn't it have been something to have like, like folk and countries has really, and Americana kind of style music has really had a huge resurgence in the last 10 years or so. Like folk has really kind of come back into the forefront, and there are so many singers and artists that are doing that at the moment that I feel like it would be. I'm worried that the authenticity of the story might be hurt by the fact that she's
her voice is
a
so
pop
poppy.
singer, and not a country or folky kind of thing. Anyway, other than that, what a great trailer! Like, really great.
I mean, especially because it's Bradley's first outing as a director. So let's see what he does.
I'm really interested to see what he does.
Exactly, because I wasn't a huge. I'm not actors who become directors or directors who become actors. I think it's a great mold because sometimes they find different ways or different talents that they have. Coming back to Ben Affleck as a director, I think he should stay behind the camera because he knows what he's doing.
My man K-Cost, man.
Your man K-Cost. Same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Next. Jesus.
Your pick. Go for it.
All right. I want to talk about bad times at the El Royale.
This is not a place for a priest, Father. You shouldn't be here.
We might need to work on your sales pitch, son. The El Royale. No place for a priest.
I think you're gonna stay. Lonely nights that come, memories that flow, bring
you watch me? I only watch who they tell me to watch.
Who's they?
Management.
Good Lord, thank God. My God, Tyson. This thing is amazing.
This might be
a stylized fucking film.
Yeah. Well, this might be my favorite trailer of the week.
Yeah.
Because and that's saying a lot considering what we've seen.
Considering what's come out.
Oh man. Yeah. I was already excited when I heard it was Drew Goddard. I really like Drew Goddard. I think he is someone that I'm always going to be excited about seeing what his next project is.
Yeah.
I started watching the trailer and I was very, I don't know, I was very confused as to what I was watching.
Seeing, yes.
Yeah. And then when it suddenly clicks into place, this trailer, and you realize that it is like a pulpy 60s kind of horror thriller set in a hotel or something, and like
possibly with a John Wick vibe of its own world. Type deal?
Like that it might be existing in some kind of alternate reality,
or like a Twin Peaks thing.
Twin Peaks is actually that's a good example. That's a good good comparison. Yeah. And it really just all of a sudden, like, that trailer takes such a turn, and when it did, I was just like board. I am on board.
Yeah.
And I love the cast. I love the visual style of it all. It's so, like, there's just the neon lights and the weird, like, even the way the hotel rooms are designed, like, they look stunning.
Like, starting off the fact that there's two parts of the hotel, like, was it Texas and another part? Like, it was just
that strange idea that it's built on the border, so you can choose a room in this state or the other state, basically. You can just step over the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, bizarre. And like you said, cast. I've never seen anything with John Hamm in it. I know that he's good.
Right.
I would like to watch Mad Men eventually. I know, right?
No, you've seen Bridesmaids.
Yes, but he didn't really stick out.
You've seen Baby Driver, haven't you?
No, I haven't yet. No.
Have you seen?
See, that's the thing.
The Town? You've seen The Town.
I have seen The Town. Was he in The Town?
Yeah, he's the main guy in The Town.
See, that's how much The Town stuck out for me.
Isn't he?
Is he?
No, he's the cop. He's the cop in The Town.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
I
like John Hamm a lot. I like him a lot. And it was so nice. I love... and, you know, it's residual love from Thor, of course, but anytime I see Chris Hemsworth in a trailer now, I'm like, oh, it's Chris Hemsworth. I love
him. You got a man crush now.
I've got a man crush on that large, burly gentleman.
You'd like to grab hold of his Stormbringer, wouldn't you? Good look.
Well done. Well played, good sir. Well played.
Thank you.
I don't know what else really to say about this trailer other than the team behind it gives me great faith in the project. The look of the trailer and the feel, it made me feel a certain way. It made me almost feel like the way Tarantino trailers feel.
Yeah.
Like you just knew it was going to have this really kind of unique aesthetic, and it would be a very unique experience watching it. Yeah. And I'm so excited for it. I think it just looks stunning.
With the cast in there like that, like the fact that Drew Goddard is writing and directing as well. No one else is doing anything. I'm like, this is going to be one to watch. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he's directed a film since Cabin in the Woods. I think he's written some stuff.
Yeah, he's written a lot more, but no, this is his second one after Cabin.
And I can't say enough good things about Cabin in the Woods. I think, I think it's a masterpiece. So,
exactly.
Very excited.
It's completely embarrassed. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on. God. Okay. Yeah, we're going to be here all day.
That's all right.
Hey, tell you what. Let's talk about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse. Oh my God.
In your universe, there's only one Spider-Man. But there is another universe. It looks and sounds like yours, but it's not. My name's Miles Morales.
Hey, kid. You're like me.
How?
I knew my day would come around this time.
I know it's complicated.
Just had to get my soul and free my mind.
You want to know what happened to you? I can teach you to be Spider-Man. I love this burger. So delicious. One of the best burgers I've ever had. You have money, right? I'm not very liquid right now.
I think you're gonna be a bad teacher. How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person. One thing I know for sure, don't do it like me. Do it like you.
All right, well, coming off the back, in the Spider-Man comic, because I've read a lot of comics, in the Spider-Man comics that I've read, for me, Miles Morales is more Spider-Man than Peter Parker for me.
Right, so you've actually read a lot more Miles Morales.
Miles Morales, yeah.
Right.
And I can't wait for this thing. I wanted when Homecoming came out, I wanted a trailer exactly like this, and for him to pull back the mask and for it to be a black kid.
Yeah, right.
I wanted that to. It was time for that to happen, and I thought that we were going to get it. But yeah, this is awesome. I can't wait for this thing.
I'm really excited for this. I think it's now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the impression I got from the trailer. I haven't really done a whole heap of research, but this is the way that Marvel are going to introduce the concept of alternate realities.
Yes, I believe so, yes.
Because there are references in this trailer to the fact that this is not your reality. In your reality, we have Peter Parker who looks like Tom Holland.
Yeah.
In this reality, so it's actually, I think it's really clever because they're saying, it's in the same universe as the Marvel films, but it's the alternate reality. And so they're actually introducing the concept of alternate realities. It means that they can open up the doors to tell all these different stories, yet have them somewhat related to the Marvel Cinematic Universe as it stands at the moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you will still have Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, but it will be a completely different story. Maybe he didn't, meet up with the Avengers or do his thing.
Well, potentially.
They can do anything with it. That's the best.
And it even opens the possibility up for that moment where if one of these alternate realities are successful, particularly successful, to then bring them together and have it not be have it not fuck the continuity up. Yeah. I think it's really clever that they've chosen to do it this way, and as an animated film as well, because that helps kind of bridge the gap. It means that people won't watch it and be like, hang on, I just saw Spider-Man, spoiler, turn to dust.
How is this kid still? What's
going on here? I think the fact that it's animated helps bridge that gap as well.
Yeah.
I love the voice cast. Jake Johnson from New Girl and Jurassic World and stuff as Peter Parker. I think that's excellent. That's an excellent choice.
Huge choice.
Yeah, and
it looks rad, man.
The animation style looks really good. It looks really funny, but it looks like the moment where he does kind of the dive off the building and the free fall.
It's such a stylized, like you're looking at almost an art form. Like it's not the cartoons that we grew up with, Tyson. It is definitely not. These are films in their own right. Like they've got these people working, like our cartoons. When we watched the Transformers movie in 1984, was it 84? Look that up.
You got the touch.
Exactly. When we were watching that whole thing, Tyson, was hand drawn. My friend. This thing is. I'm not saying that this thing doesn't take that much time. I'm just saying that
No, but it's totally. It's just such a different thing to look at. Like it's just stunning.
It's stunning, man. Like that drop, I could just watch that. That was amazing. And I love that they did it twice. I'm like, of course you're going to do it twice in one trailer because
so nice you did it twice.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like the idea of the story too. The fact that Peter Parker is aware of the alternate realities.
Of the other alternate realities,
and that so it's kind of there's going to be a lot of kind of throwbacks to other things happening and lots of references and I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know how people are going to respond to it because I feel like releasing it in cinemas. I'm not sure is a great idea,
right?
Because I feel like people might not go because it's not the real thing.
I think the animation may hurt them a little. In that case, I wish they did this thing live action. But in saying that, I really hope it does well.
I hope it does well too. I think I would really like to see it in a cinema. I can't remember the last time I saw a cartoon in the cinema. I just don't see cartoons at the cinema. Except maybe in
Incredibles.
It might be worth going to see Incredibles 2.
Exactly. What was the last cartoon thing I saw at the cinema?
Yeah, I can't
That's a good
remember.
question. That's a good question.
Because I always want to go. Did I see? I think I saw Kubo. No, I saw Kubo on Blu-ray.
Oh, did you see Kubo?
No, I didn't see it in the cinema.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Anyway. I saw Batman v Superman. That's kind of a cartoon. That's kind of a piece of
I saw that. Yeah, that's fair. There was probably more CGI in that than real things happening.
Exactly. Anyway.
All right, let's move on. Go.
Spider-Verse, man, 2 massive thumbs up. That thing looks boss.
Yeah, it does. It looks really great. All right.
What else?
Oh, we're almost there. 2
more, 3 more, 5 more.
We've got 3 more that I wanted to talk about.
Okay, cool.
Let's very quickly talk about Girl in the Spider's Web.
I'm a fan of yours. The CEO who beat up 2 prostitutes, but then got acquitted in court yesterday.
Get me down!
I'm transferring 20% of your cash to these 2 girls.
I'm calling down to security.
The rest, I'm transferring to your wife. Account number.
Don't! 51912.
Take your child and leave. He won't hurt you again. Mr. Chen has bankrolled your company for years. Isn't this his wife?
You bitch!
You try to contact your wife again, or if anything unexpected should happen to her, this video will be sent to him.
Who are you?
Are you not Elizabeth Salander, the writer of Wrongs? The girl who hurts men, who hurt women. I could never figure it out. Why did you have everyone but me?
Now, this is...
I was on a spider thing, so I thought we'd go straight.
Yeah. Good segue.
Yeah.
Okay, so me and my wife are fans of this story, these series of books by Stieg. Is it Stieg Larsson?
Stieg Larsson? Is that how you pronounce it?
That's how you say it, yeah. In saying that, I've only read the first 2, and my wife has read all of them. This is the first one that he didn't write. So his I don't know, I think his family had something to do with it, took the licensing and got another writer to write it. So this is the 4th out of the 3. In saying
so this is based on the 4th book, but it's not by the same author. Okay,
that's true. Yes, but the characters are by the author, obviously.
Sure. Do you get the Daniel Craig's character? He's dead, isn't he, or something?
Oh, I don't.
Doesn't he die in the books?
Yeah, I think he is. No. Oh.
I don't know. I haven't seen the where were they from? Are they Norwegian?
I believe so. Swedish. Anyway.
Yeah, I haven't seen those originals with like the Noomi Rapace ones.
Noomi Rapace, yeah.
I've seen the Fincher one, and
so you should. Everyone should see the Fincher one, just for the visuals alone. But I was so hell bent on him doing the next one, Tyson. This one kind of came out, and I was like, oh, really? Because I love Rooney Mara as Elizabeth. Like, I really like that.
Rooney Mara, I'm a big fan of. I think Rooney Mara is pretty great.
She's fucking awesome, man. Yeah. She's so fucking good, and she had the accent down. Even though Daniel Craig didn't even give it a shot, I was like, oh, okay, sure. You don't want to give it a shot? No. Everyone else is giving it a go. You don't want to give it a go?
No, he's understood. That's it.
I'm fine.
How about I just leave this movie and you can fucking deal with it?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just going to go do Bond.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, this trailer looks actually quite good, Tyson. I'm going to watch this.
I was this was another reason why I think this week has been a great week, is because we got like this little mini movie at the start of that trailer.
Yeah,
like a little 1 minute short film, and I really enjoyed that. I was like, I don't think enough trailers just allow a scene to unfold, especially if it's strong enough to hold your attention for a trailer.
Yeah, fair deal.
And this one really did. I was kind of really into this opening scene. I think Claire Foy brings something really interesting to the role because I think she is just kind of very. It's very hard to look at her and kind of figure her out. I think.
Yeah.
She's kind of enigmatic, I think, in that way. And
I don't know her. What else is she in? This is the first time I've seen
The Crown, and she was. Is it The Crown? She's in
The Crown.
And she just did that Soderbergh horror movie, Unseen.
Oh, that's the one on the
iPhones. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is something else that I've seen her in, and I really enjoyed her.
Was it Season of the Witch with Nicolas Cage?
Oh wow, interesting! I have actually seen Season of the Witch.
How have you seen Season of the Witch?
Oh man, this is it. Godfather Part 2 sits and gathers dust on my DVD shelf.
And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, listening to this podcast, this is why I do this podcast with Tyson, because this is a man I love to watch movies with. Good Lord, he'll watch stuff, I'm telling you.
I've definitely seen that. Was she the witch? Was she the witch?
She was billed as the girl. Whether that's the witch, I don't know. I haven't seen.
No, I think it is. Yeah.
Oh, she is. She's the witch.
Yeah, I think maybe. I don't know.
I think it's this season.
So yeah, I think she is bringing a really strange energy to it, and I'm really enjoying it. I liked this little opening scene where it was just kind of like, I'm just going to fuck over this dude who's fucking over these women.
Yeah.
And it was great, and it was brutal, and the only thing I'm a little concerned about, and I don't know the story.
Yeah.
But I'm not. It's similar to the thing that I heard about Spectre. Speaking of Daniel Craig, the whole James Bond thing. I don't think I need every story to be like about your destiny and things like that. Do you know what I mean? Like how it's like for some reason everything that happens now, it can't just be a narrative that occurs naturally. It has to be something that at the end of it, it's like, it was me all along. Your arch nemesis from when you were 12. And
I was watching over you the whole fucking time.
Exactly. I've been here the whole time, pulling the strings. And I'm kind of done with that as a reveal. So I hope that's not what this is, because it had that vibe. I don't know who that weird albino girl was who was like, you didn't save me, Lisbeth. So, I'm not sure what's going on there, and I'm not sure I'm on board for it. But having said that, the first part of this trailer was excellent. I thought
it was
great.
It was really good. And in saying that, when watching it, I hate watching a featurette or a scene. And behind the scenes on this movie, which is not fucking out yet, I don't do that. I hate that. That's blasphemous. So in that, I was watching it going, hang on, no, this isn't. Is this a featurette? Is this what's going on here? Oh no, this is a trailer. Oh, nice choice. And it was. It stood on its own 2 feet and it was awesome. Now, if I find out if they filmed that just for the trailer, I'm going to be so stoked, because that's awesome.
Actually, I would be super, super, super impressed. Really legitimately impressed.
That was nice.
Well, just speaking of, and just because it is directed by Fede Alvarez, who is a director that I'm really interested in following, because we've discussed Don't Breathe. We had an episode on Don't Breathe, didn't we?
We did have an episode on Don't Breathe.
Last year during Halloween in our Spookisodes. So you can have a listen to a bit of that. And, of course, he directed the remake of Evil Dead.
Evil Dead, that's true.
And I am...
he likes the dark, this guy.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I think he's actually a good follow-up to Fincher. For some reason...
I think he is. Good hands there.
For some reason, I don't know why, it kind of makes sense to me that if Fede... When I look at Don't Breathe, I can feel the influence of like a Fincher on it, which is
that's so true.
It feels kind of like a natural progression. So
even Evil Dead to some extent, like that wasn't. A lot of people were rubbed it the wrong way by that remake, but that's because he took a serious tone. Sam Raimi's Evil Dead had comic undertones to it.
For
He had to make light of it. This one was like, no. If we're going to do a horror, it's going to be serious. It's going to be fucking scary. It's going to be real. And I kind of liked that.
Look, I didn't love it, but I had a reasonable time with it, because I respected how much it just went for it. Like
exactly
that finale.
Yes, and that's what I loved. I was like, that's awesome. That's awesome. And if he's going to do that with this, and in saying that, like you said, him looking through kind of Fincher's eyes through this thing, because there's no way that you can't I would, he's 100% stylized, and it's going to look awesome. I don't know whether what I said just made sense, but it did to me. Yeah.
And that's all that matters, Nicholas.
Exactly.
All right, so we got 2 more. We're going to smash through them.
All right, well,
actually, let's talk. Can we talk more about First Man? Is that okay?
We've chosen a job so difficult, requiring so many technological developments. We're going to have to start from scratch. Only after we master these tasks do we consider trying to land on the moon.
Neil, if this flight is successful, you'll go down in history. What kind of thoughts do you have about that?
We're planning on the flight being successful.
Damn, that is a big mother.
It'll go up like a half-kiloton A-bomb if it blows.
The vehicle's not safe.
We need to fail down here so we don't fail up there.
This isn't just another trip, Neil. You're not just going to work.
Do you think you're coming back?
There are risks, but we have every intention of coming back.
Somebody got a Swiss Army knife?
A Swiss Army knife? You kidding me?
I was going to say, good segue, because Claire Boy plays Janet Armstrong.
It's true. Claire Foy she's everywhere, man. Everyone is getting on board the Claire Foy train.
She's so hot right now.
She's so hot right now. Which means, knowing Hollywood, that she'll star in 4 films and one of them will flop, and then they won't give her another gig, and then she'll disappear into obscurity because Hollywood sucks. But yeah, First Man.
Man.
I'll tell you what, God, another really great trailer. Like a really
good,
really great. I was skeptical of this film because I didn't really, and I suppose it's dumb to say, but you look at something like Apollo 13.
Yes.
Is it Apollo 13?
Stellar
Yeah,
classic,
Apollo 13.
Yes. Yeah.
I was like, Apollo 11. No, Apollo 13.
No, Apollo 13.
The thing about Apollo 13 is that we knew how it turned out, obviously.
Yeah.
So that there's a removal of tension there.
That's true.
But it was an amazing feat of survival, right?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So the fact that they made it was ridiculous. I was kind of unaware that might be the situation for this as well.
Oh, really?
In my very limited knowledge of the moon landing, being not exactly a fucking NASA scientist, I just assumed that it was a relatively smooth operation.
Smooth run, you would think so.
That it, obviously it took them a fuck ton to figure out how to do it, but I never knew that it may be like how close to death they might have been trying to achieve this. This movie makes it look like it was hell, man.
They almost died, basically. Yeah.
And it looks like it's gonna. I think it looks like it is clearly modelled on Apollo 13 as well. It looks we have
Apollo, the moon landing was Apollo 11, and Apollo 13 was meant to be the second moon landing because I think Apollo 12 blew up.
Yeah,
I could be wrong there. I could be wrong. Yeah, but it really does.
It's. I think they've taken, and like Damien Chazelle, I'm obviously a huge fan of.
There's no way you can look past him.
He's 2 for 2 for me at the moment, and
really, you've seen La La Land?
Yeah, I have, but I kept it to myself.
Oh, you kept it to yourself.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk about that.
Maybe, no. Suffice to say, without going into too much, because I feel like enough time has passed now that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I really quite loved it.
Okay.
Anyway, so but having, so I'm willing to I'll go with him wherever he wants to go now, right. And he looks like it looks really kind of far more, it looks far more in your face and intimate, and it looks like he's trying to get really, he looks like he's trying to mix up his directorial style a little bit in this trailer, which I was kind of happy about, because I was like, I wouldn't pick it as a Chazelle film straight off the bat.
Oh.
But I think he's clearly modelled it off Apollo 13. I think the way that we've got the team on the ground that are trying to solve the problems. You've got the team in the spaceship. You've got got all the pre-work where it's like, no, we've got to let these things happen and go wrong so that they don't go wrong when we're up there. And the way that one of the things I really love about Apollo 13 is the way that it captures the claustrophobia of what
Space.
it must be like. I have no idea. I would never in my lifetime be a spaceman because.
Really?
No, I couldn't do it, man. I couldn't do it. I nearly had a fucking panic attack just watching him strap him in and shutting the thing in this trailer.
Yeah, I didn't realise, like, obviously it's different now, but I didn't realise how close the door is to their face when they shut that door. I was like, wow, that's like no room. You got
like
no room
zero.
to breathe.
It's basically just...
You get strapped your ass to a rocket and you're at the top of the fucking rocket. Like, I'm like, Jesus, that's a bit full on. And because the glass also of the helmet is so close to their face, I'm like, that would fuck me up. I have to take the helmet off. And they'd be like, Nick, don't take your helmet off. I'm like, no, I have to take it off.
No, I think I'll take it off. It's all good.
I'm going to take it off. It's all right. If Sandra Bullock can do it.
You're on the moon, Nick. You're on the moon. You need to leave your helmet on. No, it's all good. It's all good.
No, it's good. I'm going to have a breather.
I just need a bit of fresh air. Nick, it's not how it works. It's not how it works, man.
It's very cold. You will die before you...
There is no fresh air. There's the opposite of fresh air. There is something that will suck your insides out of you.
Exactly. That's where they're going to go. George Clooney, can you just knock Nick out? Put him in the shuttle and just leave him for a bit.
Yeah.
But it looks awesome, Tyson. And you were right. Like, thinking of, like, Damien Chazelle doing Whiplash first and then going on to La La Land, which was, like, I wasn't a big fan of it, but the stage that he set for that was so amazing. And then this is just obviously how well La La Land and Whiplash were received. Everyone's just throwing money at Damien Chazelle. What are you going to do next? We want to see it.
It's a very interesting choice of what to do next. I wonder if he has like a kind of an old school love of like space exploration, or maybe deep down like it just is that movies like Apollo 13.
It's been a while since we've had a good one.
God, I can't even think. What's another good space exploration movie? The Right Stuff. Maybe
The Right Stuff, yeah.
The Right Stuff. Right Stuff's awesome.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe these are films that were very kind of influential on him growing up, because he's quite young. He's younger than us, Damien Chazelle, by the way, which makes me want to vomit like
really
everywhere, like just vomit.
How the fuck are you this good, dude?
Like it's just the life of that he is, the success he has achieved, and here we are.
No, please don't. God,
anyway,
I'll start drinking a lot.
That's it. But so maybe these films, for fuck's, who knows? Maybe Armageddon was like
exactly. Maybe he was watching that, going, "Oh yeah, I could do that. Or
better. Deep Impact. There's some really cool space stuff in Deep Impact.
Yeah.
If anyone says in this he's got space dementia, I'll be no. Is it Space Madness? No, that's the Ren and Stimpy cartoon.
That's
Space Madness.
Exactly. This guy was born in 1985.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
He's close to us. He's close, Tys.
Yeah, all right.
He's born in the 80s.
Well, yeah, okay. So we've got about 3 years to win a Best Director Oscar then to match him.
Oh, fucking, he won Best Director? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Was it for La La Land?
Yeah, it was for La La Land. Yeah.
All right. Well, all right. Let's not big him up just yet. There are a lot of people with Oscars who don't deserve them. Halle Berry, she's
poor Halle Berry.
All right, fine. Gwyneth Paltrow, how about that?
Yeah, it's probably safer.
There you go.
All right, let's move on, because we've only got one more to talk about.
One more. Let's do it.
We're going to talk about it really quickly. God, editing this fucking week's episode is going to be a nightmare.
It's going to be
last thing let's talk about is the Transformers spin-off Bumblebee.
Bumblebee.
Let me tell you something. A driver don't pick the car. Car pick the driver. It's a mystical bond between man and machine. It's a mystical bond between man and machine.
Who are you? Do you speak? I won't hurt you. What's your name?
So we have this this Transformers spin-off that nobody asked for.
We do, and no one. And I thought we were over Transformers. Like I thought, okay, Michael Bay has clearly, like, he's had enough. Is there 5, Tyson? Is there 5 of them?
There is 5 of these fucking things.
Fucking hell! So I thought, no, they're totally over this. There's no way that they're clearly not. And I might see this.
This is the most I've kind of been like, well, that didn't look like hot garbage of any of the trailers since the first one. So
and you can tell why, Tyson. There's one main reason why, isn't there? One main reason.
Why is
go
that?
On. Go on. Guess why the main reason is this looked actually okay, and you might want to see it. There's one reason.
Because
give it a shot.
Set in the 80s?
No, it's because it's not directed by him.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean...
That's why.
That's a given.
Because you're like, oh, well, clearly the man is...
Who is it directed by? I haven't checked.
I don't know his name. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, But
it looked good. It looked like a bit of fun. I did realise that it was set in the 80s, and I was like, oh, we're jumping on the bandwagon, which is fine. I love it. Everyone join the Stranger Things bandwagon. Go for it.
That's it. Get on it.
And I like Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah, me too. I'm actually a big fan of hers. I think she's super charming. Edge of 17 has made me a lifelong fan of hers. So
lifelong fan. Travis Knight, it is.
Travis Knight? Travis Knight, who directed...
Kubo and the Two Strings. Dude, are you telling me you're not fucking...
There you go. I knew. There's a reason why I was like looking at it and thinking, this doesn't look terrible. What's going on there?
Because it's an actual director.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, there are moments to it that do look a little bit ridiculous. I like the design of Bumblebee better. I feel like he just looks a bit more like a Transformer and not some kind of weird mechanical monster that they've all turned into in these new ones.
With their upgrades or whatever the fuck.
I don't know. It just looks like metal smashing into each other. I could actually see who he was and where he was when he was moving around.
In there. Exactly. You can see character.
So that's good. Yeah.
I do like that it kind of looks like maybe it's just, and this is just from this trailer, that it's just their relationship. You get a lot of them together.
It's like Mac and Me.
Exactly. Mac and Me. I used to stare at that in the video shop all the time. Never saw it, but always stared at it.
Oh, I've definitely watched Mac and Me. That thing is fucking weird.
But yeah, they have kind of a bond. Maybe she doesn't have any friends and he, all of that stuff.
Yeah,
and
I mean, that's obviously the angle they're going for. It's going to be...
and then you get a Decepticon out of nowhere, which I hope it's just a fight between him and Starscream. I hope it is just
Wouldn't that be great? If it's just one Transformer, one Decepticon...
versus another, and then that's where it's going to lead off until,
Exactly.
And that'd be great.
It would be great.
Don't do too many spin-offs. Bumblebee 2, The Attack of the Sting. I don't think that's
Bumblebee harder. What else? Hang on.
Bumblebee 2, Rise of the Sting. No?
Rise, what?
Of the Sting.
Of the Sting.
Of the Sting.
See, that's clever. Mine was dumb. Yours was clever. You put too much thought into it. It was actually so clever that I was like, what? What do you mean? Sting? What are you talking about?
Too late in the day for Tyson.
Yeah, it is too late.
Everyone else is listening to the podcast is cracking up. They're like, Nick, God, he's funny, isn't he?
It is too late in the day.
Shut the fuck up. Oh. Yeah. All right.
I think we can move on.
I'm definitely going to see it.
That's a big call. I haven't seen a Transformers movie past the first one at the cinema, and it's not going to start now. So,
and the day that I'm going to fall sick, my little man's going to go to grandma's. My wife's going to go to work, and I'm going to sit and I'm going to watch all the Fast and the Furious and all of the Transformers in one sitting. It's just going to be on a loop, side by side.
If you somehow get through that day without ending up in a coma, I will be very, very proud of you.
Exactly. And then I'm going to get some sort of Fast and the Furious tat, I feel. Yeah.
You have to. It has to be like something like family with a Corona underneath it or something.
Yes.
It's like two Coronas cheersing with family written underneath.
And
Familia.
Yeah, familiar. Yeah, and underneath the word familiar, it has tire tracks.
Oh. So what? Like the
like a skid, like a zigzag skid,
like the two A's in familiar are tires.
Tires, yeah. That is what it is. That is golden.
That is so good. Can someone design that? Someone's got to do it.
Someone design it, and me and Tyson will get it tattooed.
I will get that tattooed. I will get it done because it's so fantastic. And if someone designed it, I would have to do it. Oh my God.
I have a friend who has
tickled my fancy.
She's done my tattoo, my one tattoo for me, and I'm going to get her to do more, and I'm going to get her to design that for us, Tyson.
Oh, damn it.
Oh, that was good.
That hit the spot, that one. All right, we've got to move on. We're going to be here all fucking night. I think it's time for feature preds, my man.
All right, feature preds. Let's do it.
And now for our feature presentation.
Oh, God. All right.
Man of Fire.
Man on Fire. 2004.
Keep saying Man of Fire. It's on Fire.
That would be a very different movie.
That'd be a Human Torch film.
I was going to say, Johnny Storm.
Yeah, Johnny Storm.
Yes, Johnny Storm prequel. Man of Fire.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
So I know, Nicholas, that you are a fan of this movie because it's something you've brought up before.
I've talked about it before, yeah.
I believe. And I think it's been something you've mentioned a couple of times that you've wanted to do an episode on it.
Did I? Oh,
I think so. And I am interested to know why, Nicholas. What was it about this movie? So, have you seen this a lot of times, or because I'd only seen it once? I'd seen it the once on when it came out on video, and it was for me. It was like it was just fine. I was kind of like, yep, there it was.
That was good. Yeah.
I remember thinking it's easily 45 minutes too long, but
absolutely.
But it was fine, and moved on with my life, and have never thought about it since.
Yeah.
But you seem to really enjoy it.
No, I remember watching it the first time, and then I got a hankering for it again. Just seeing it pop up on streaming and things like that. I was like, I'm going to watch that. Tony Scott, come on, there's got to be a reason that. And I'm a massive Denzel fan. I was going through a Denzel thing at the time because what is the sequel to the one that's coming out soon? Came out.
Equalizer.
I was going to say The Escalator. No, that's not it.
There's got to be a horror movie, like a trashy horror movie called The Escalator somewhere. There has to be.
But yeah, I was going on an Equalizer phase, and then I was like, no, I want to watch them all. Fuck it, let's bring this on. So I watched Deja Vu. Please don't do that. No one.
I liked Deja Vu.
Really, you like that?
I did, man. I thought Deja Vu was really how good's that scene where he's chasing him in the past? But at the same time, I was like, this movie is going for it. This movie is bonkers, and I was on board.
But yeah, and then I watched this, and it's fine for the first 45, and then the movie does a turn, and then you get kind of the man unhinged kind of Max Payne, if anyone knows the Max Payne reference I'm talking about. And then you get a guy who just has...
Obviously not the movie, the video game.
Obviously not the movie, clearly, the video game.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get a guy who just gives zero fucks and just
goes...
Zero fucks and goes, no, I am going to destroy you all because of what you've done. But stylized wise, it turns, Tyson. You're getting because some of it is in Spanish. You're getting subtitles not down the bottom where you would. They're getting part of the screen, and I was like, how is this coming out?
I have bad news for you, buddy.
Oh, what's going on?
I watched this on Netflix,
and
all those subtitles are gone.
What is that? What?
They're all gone. They're all down the bottom, just like normal subtitles now.
That's not a part of the movie. Are you serious?
Yep.
But that was how it was stylized.
I know, but I don't understand how they do that then? How they've done it. Because it's not it wasn't like someone at SBS sitting there typing out the subtitles and then just not. They were part of the. They were part of the fucking.
They were part of the film.
It made me so mad. And do you know what? It took me a while because it's pretty low on my notes. And when I realized, I was angry. I was like, wait a second. I remember this being this is the movie that I remember was one of the first to use the super interactive subtitles to change the font, change the size, change where you're looking. really kind of accent the action with the subtitles.
Yeah, that was the point.
And then all of a sudden I was just like, oh, holy fuck, this hasn't been doing it. They've just been down the bottom. But the thing is, they've been down the bottom, and I don't know why I didn't notice this. They've been down the bottom in English. So because a lot of the time the subtitles were just English, and it was like it was there to make a point and to emphasize a certain point.
Yeah.
They would still pop up as subtitles, but just down the bottom. And I'm like,
you serious?
Yeah, so Netflix has... I don't know what Netflix has done.
Screwed us.
I don't know if it's... which means that they must have released 2 versions to home video. They must have released
clearly
the theatrical cut, which had all the subtitles, and a version without them so that you could just read them if you weren't interested in that. And that must be the one that... And I actually was really upset because I feel like I've missed a part of this movie now because that was his stylistic choice.
That was a point. They did that for a reason. Yeah, because
it's very deliberate.
Yeah.
And whether or not you like it as an idea or not, whether or not you're on board for it, it's kind of not the point. You're not allowed to make that choice. You're not allowed to sit there and go, oh, you know what? Yeah, I really like this movie, but I don't like the subtitle stuff, so I'm going to turn it off. It's kind of like watching a movie and just skipping scenes of plot that you don't like. It's like, yeah, you can do it, but it's no longer the movie, so you can't you can't have any kind of say over it.
Exactly.
So I was kind of bummed by that. Man. I was really disappointed. I did feel jibbed. I felt real jibbed.
Yeah. But other than that, there was no real reason. I don't remember saying that I wanted to do this, but I don't know why I was drawn to it. And you're right, it does go for 45 minutes too long. This is 2 hours 45. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ.
This is a long ass fucking movie.
This was a slog. But the thing is, I kind of, if you're going to get rid of anything, it's because it's a good setup. And I do love I like a heavy setup, Tyson. Maybe I'm changing in my watching, but I like a heavy setup so that you actually fucking care about these characters if something happens. You know, you care about what happens to Peter, who is played by the amazing, God damn it. What's her name?
Dakota Fanning.
Thank you, Dakota Fanning. Who she from a very young age she was Oscar worthy. It was really fucking intimidating.
She's stunning in this. She's really she's
she knows
so
what she's doing.
She's so easily lovable.
And
it is completely believable that this man who has obviously hardened his heart to a certain degree, it is so believable that she would be able to melt that. She is just. She's just... I don't understand people that don't like her. I don't understand it. It's like they're speaking another language when they're like, she's such a precocious little shit, and it annoys me, and I'm like...
She's not. She's just...
Are you kidding me? Like, yes. She is so in touch with how to engage a character with an audience. Anyway.
And you can tell that she's in the moment. She's saying lines, but she's in the moment, and she's acting really well in the scenes. Like, that's... As a person who has done that as an actor, that's quite hard sometimes. You know, it's not easy, and especially at that age. Where was I going with that?
Dakota Fanning, she's awesome.
Dakota Fanning, she's awesome. But yeah, the first 45. I like a heavy setup. But this did go on probably 20 minutes too long.
See, it's funny because I'm saying it, and we all, look who you're talking to. I am the man. I am the advocate for if you can't get it done in 90 minutes.
What the fuck are you doing?
You're like, maybe you shouldn't be trying to get it done at all. But that's not true. It's really not true. I will happily sit and watch a long movie. I'm just saying there are certain films that it's like if you can't get it done in 90 minutes, it's not the right film. I think, and This one kind of is in this weird middle ground because I think you can either look at it 2 ways. You can look at it as a straightforward action revenge film.
Yeah.
In which case, 90 to 110 minutes is pretty much your play area. And if you move post that into the 160 that we're dealing with on this, you got a real problem with your storytelling pace.
It's just weird.
But I don't know if I would cut anything from this opening stuff. If anything, I actually wanted the development of their relationship to be a little slower.
Yes,
just a fraction slower would have been really good because I think it's really lovely that the way they find. I think it's very telling that the way that they find a bonding moment is finding a way to help her block out external forces.
Yeah.
So, like, so it's obviously something that he is, as this very troubled individual, it is one of the only real pieces of wisdom he can pass on, is how to be focused on your task while, while everything else is happening. And so it's kind of interesting that they found a sport or whatever that represents that. So I thought that was pretty clever. Yeah, but I just thought it got there just a little too quick, and it just felt a little bit too unnatural.
So true. I actually
another 5 minutes, even just one more scene of like just starting to break the icy exterior a little bit.
Yeah, I needed a reason. Like when you get two kind of setups. I needed a reason for Chrissy to get along with Peter instead of like, yes, he was doing like what you said. They shared a bond there with him kind of training her for the swimming. Like, and there's two moments for me. Is you get the line where the head sister says, you'll have to be her father today. And it's just a throwaway line for her, but it means quite something for him.
Yes.
And then in the second is her giving him the necklace of St. Jude. Like, that is the heavy land.
Yeah.
But in those two things, I'm like, the character that they've set up, that still wouldn't, I need more. He still wouldn't care as much. I need a reason.
They did set him up to be, like the way they have set him up, it does seem like that wouldn't be enough.
No, he needs a hell of a...
maybe the stuff that's cut out of this, because it feels like it could be like a 3.5 hour epic. Like, it really does. And it's funny though, because I think the first time I watched it, I don't think I was on board for the bluntness of the symbolism. Like,
okay.
I think I remember I thought it was kind of clunky the first time I watched it. The St. Jude medal, the Bible conversations, like the way he was so in touch with the Bible and talking to the nun and all that kind of stuff. Like, it was getting really, I remember feeling like it was just they were trying to make what should have been just a really kind of rock'em sock'em action film into something really heady and really trying to make some statements. And I don't think I was on board the first time. Yeah. And watching it this time, I think I realized that like, if I want to make something of this movie, I could argue that this is like a 10 out of 10 movie, I reckon.
Really?
I don't feel that way about it, but I reckon you could argue it, because if you are wanting to go into this movie, if you are wanting to
10 out of 10.
If you are wanting to embrace the weightiness of it, if you are wanting to be like, do you know what? I want all the symbolism, I want all the metaphor, throw it all at me, and I'm going to soak it all up and love it.
Sure.
This movie is for people that just, and usually I'm a sucker for it, but it's a bit much for me. But this movie is for the people that want blatant symbolism, blatant metaphor, blatant allegory, like something that they can dig their teeth into and go, oh, this means this means this means this, because
this is the reason he did this.
It's all the way through it. It's all the way through it.
You get it all. That's very, very true. That's very true. I don't know about 10 out of 10, but I agree with you.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and when you were saying before, like, what you would cut, because I was going through this thing and I was watching, I was like, fuck, this is long. But what would you cut, Nick? Like, what is there that you could miss?
I actually care less.
Go on.
I care less about the violent revenge.
Really?
Yeah, I care less about that stuff. I think once it takes the turn into that, I think it's badass, and he's like, it's pretty great to see some of the shit that he does, but I think every one of those scenes is probably a little long. The interrogation scenes, and because it just does not matter who kidnapped her. It does not matter in the slightest. The important thing is their relationship, and once you find, all you need to know is that the dad was involved in some way. Spoiler alert. That's all you really need to know. I think tracking down this person, and then this person, and then this next person, and then I was just sitting there and I'm like, I don't know who any of these fucking people are. And
it doesn't make it clear. You're right. You have to kind of put things together
because
and go,
it doesn't matter. It actually could have happened. It could have happened in one huge scene. It could have happened in one, like, he turns up at that club and they're just all there, and it's just a big old fashioned throwdown, and he's just somehow able to outmuscle them all, find out who the voice is, makes that one call, then goes to the bridge and dies because of his wounds he suffered at the club. and we would still get, I think, the same effect.
Yeah, that's true. But I know, because I love a revenge, like a really good torture revenge. Like this was, and it's set up so well. And this was the only scene probably I think I could do without. But I know that they put this in clearly because it's watch up his ass. It's oh Jesus Christ, I suck with names. Bear with me 1 second.
Who are you trying to think of?
God damn it. Christopher Walken. Thank you.
Christopher
God
Walken.
damn it. Fuck. In the scene where Christopher Walken says, he's a man and he's about to, death is his art and he's about to run his masterpiece. That's probably the only scene you don't need. And it was in there because of the trailer. And I remember the trailer so well.
Yeah, I remember that in the trailer. That is a trailer line if there was ever a trailer line.
It's a trailer line if you ever, and especially because it's Christopher Walken doing it.
I think Christopher Walken's actually really pretty great in this movie.
He's really good.
He's the least Christopher Walken-ness that I've seen in a long time. I like his little moments where he's kind of, like bonding with his wife and Creasy and Peter. Like,
and he knows his friend is like an alcoholic, and he's waking him up and at night because he knows that, and he knows he's not in a good place, but he's still saying those things.
Yeah. But you're right. Like, but see, that's when this movie, I think I rolled my eyes at that scene the first time I watched it. But then this time. And I'm not saying I came away loving this movie. I think it's a solid like 3-star movie. Like, and that's probably about it. But if I'm in the right headset, and I was in the mindset where I was really kind of digging the operatic nature of it. Like it's so everything is just so over the top, and everything is just so like every moment is just so dramatic, and and so him doing his big speech about his masterpiece and stuff.
Yeah, you ate it up.
I ate it up, and usually though it's kind of laughable. It's a bit, you know what I mean? Because if you were feeling slightly cynical, that scene does not play at all. If you're
no, absolutely not. You'd be like, oh, fuck off.
Yeah, so you need to be willing to just be like, no, I'm in a mood where I want to embrace. It's camp, but not really. It's like the serious version of camp, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Talking about the things that I would definitely cut, though, is anything to do with Rada Mitchell and Mark. What's his name?
Oh, he's a pop singer. What was his name?
He's a pop singer. Mark. God, we suck. We just watched this film.
Well, he's not an actor.
Mark Anthony.
Mark Anthony, yeah.
Yeah.
He's no good, by the way.
He's no good.
He's no good. There's a reason why he doesn't act.
With Lady Gaga before, like seeing their in that trailer, seeing their relationship and believing in it. I did not believe in Mark and Rada at all.
No,
and I was like, seriously, there's no. I don't care.
He's a real problem with this movie. I like Rada Mitchell. I actually like Rada Mitchell a lot.
Yeah, I think she's great.
But I think he's a real problem in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't believe their relationship for a second. I don't believe that she's his father for a second.
No,
sorry,
not
he's
at all.
her father for a second. I don't believe when he finally admits it all. I don't even.
Actually gives a fuck. Exactly.
It just feels like he's reading dialogue. I'm like, did you do this, or are you just pretending you're doing this, or are you like trying to pretend that you're pretending to do it? And I was actually thinking it was so blandly delivered that I was trying to read layers into it. Do you know what I mean? Like I was trying to be like, he's like trying to double cross and stuff. And I'm like, oh no, actually he's just trying to act, and it's really bad.
Yeah,
like, he's a serious problem in this movie because it's too important.
I love that. I've never noticed this. 60 how many episodes, and I've never noticed that if someone's doing a bad job, you're like, oh, maybe they're trying. You give them a second chance. Maybe
You've always got to give them a second chance. You've always got to say, hang on, maybe I'm missing what they're doing. Let me just see if I can figure out what they're doing.
Let me step back and pause. Let me make a cup of tea. Hang on.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Because it could be a choice. And I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. Is it a choice?
You were so nice.
But that is not a choice. He was just
That's not a choice. No. He didn't know what he was doing. He was like, dude, I sing. He's like, no. We needed someone with Mexican descent, so we needed you in there. And I was like, okay, sure.
Where's Jimmy Smits, man? Where's Jimmy Smits? Where's Benjamin Bratt? Where's Jay Hernandez? Any of these people would have done a better job.
Yeah, man. Anyone.
All right. What should we talk about? I think this movie looks stunning.
It looks... Yes, I agree.
I think it is so well photographed. I think it is because we talked about we've talked a little bit about the Bruckheimer aesthetic.
Yeah, it does have
which
that.
we
that
talked
kind
about.
of a green filter.
Is it green?
Is it green?
I get what you're saying. I know that there's this colorized hue to it, but what I find, what I think more of it is this, like, because we talked about it in Gone in 60 Seconds. There's this, it's this kind of, it's the sweatiness.
Yeah.
But I just for some reason just thought everything about this just looked much, much better. Like than any of those other Bruckheimer films, and this is. I don't even think this is a Bruckheimer production, is it? I might be. No, it's Scott Free, so it's Scott Free.
Yeah.
But I seem to group it into that same.
You do, and the reason why is because it has that 2004 look. The word you're trying to describe is it looks like it was made in 2004. That doesn't mean that it's dated. It means that 2004 had a style, or around that.
Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
It's the same DP as Gone in 60 Seconds.
See?
Isn't that funny?
That's
Here I am sitting there thinking, God, this gives me Gone in 60 Seconds vibes, but like a better version. It's 4 years later. He's obviously working with no offense to Dominic Sena or whoever the fuck directed Gone in 60 Seconds. Was it Dominic Sena? Simon West. Dominic Sena?
Dominic Sena.
He's obviously working with a better director. Tony Scott is... the man knows exactly what he's fucking doing, and he's taken that aesthetic and made it work for the movie, because I think it looks stunning. Some of it looks just beautiful.
Especially, not a huge... Well, to shoot that club scene, especially, to pull that off, what he did with the lighting in there and with the crowd and making it look sweaty and everything like that, that looked awesome. That looked really rad.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, obviously, it's a funny movie because you could say that it's over-directed. I think you could argue that.
That's where you get the overly dramatic, yes. Yeah, I agree with you.
But I think whether or not you are into it or not, I think it's this combined effort. So you've got Tony Scott, you've got your DP, and you've got the editor, who are all very much together kind of crafting this really interesting, very interesting kind of visual style that this movie has.
Yeah.
Where everything is... So the editor's worked with Tony Scott a few times before. And, so funnily enough, the movie that... Yeah, no, you're right. Isn't that interesting? Sorry, I'm just keeping myself amused on IMDb at the moment. But see, so that kind of... This whole aesthetic that they went for, which I think... I can't think at the moment of another movie that does it as much as this movie, and it's hard to describe. It's the way that the camera is never able to relax. Like it never stays unless it chooses in that moment that it absolutely has to. It's jumping from here to here. It's flashbacks. It's freeze frames. It's decolorization. It's
missing scenes.
It's missing frames. It's speed ramping. It's slow-mos. It's quick cuts. It's weird kind of it's just this very huge stylized combination.
Yeah, very stylized.
I think it goes beyond stylized, to be honest.
Really?
Like I think the idea, I think it's.
But how do you come up with something like sitting down?
Okay, well, I was trying to. I was thinking. I wanted to know because I don't think it's just. I didn't want it to just be Tony Scott kind of saying, I just want it to look fucked up and then going from there. And I give him credit as a director. I don't think that's what he would have done. Like I feel like he's made enough excellent movies to give him the benefit of the doubt. So here's what I came up with.
Go for it.
I came up with that the two different things. They're both to do with Creasy. I think this movie is meant to be made in Creasy's point of view.
Yeah.
Right? And so we've got two different ways we can think about it, because you could describe the editing and the production and the photography as visceral, I think, violent. It jolts you. It keeps you on edge. It makes you feel very alert and kind of like you want to take it out. You know what I mean? Like, it gives you it gets you so involved in the violence that I think we're in Creasy's POV. I think this is how he sees the world. He sees it in fragments. He sees it in memories and moments, and
do you
he
think the
sees it
drinking
in.
has quite a bit to do with it
And
as well?
that was the other thing. And I think it's also meant to be a representation of alcoholism as well.
Right.
So they're the two things that I was like, I think that's what he's going for with
That
this.
makes sense. Yeah, I can totally see him going for that because it would make sense. I want to see it from that character's point of view, but I want to style the movie. I want to use the way that we make this film into his POV.
Yeah. And because and I mean, it's funny though, because having said that, now everything about this no subtitles thing pisses me off now because the subtitles don't support that argument. If you leave the subtitles in, I don't think that argument holds as much weight. If you take them out though, I think I might be onto something. So it's kind of like now I don't know, because this is what I was thinking about before I noticed that the subtitles weren't there. Do you know what I mean? And now I'm like, and then I got really shirty and was like, fuck it, it's not even the right movie. It's not even the right movie.
It's not even the right movie. I'm watching something. Totally understandable. Yeah.
But because I just think Tony Scott was a troubled man. Like, we know this. He was a really troubled individual. He unfortunately took his own life. And so, yeah, man, fuck. Like, the demons.
Yeah.
And you look at his filmography, he didn't often get the opportunity to explore these kind of characters either.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at something, I think he was generally more of a hopeful kind of director. Like,
so?
Well, I always thought, I think I'm guilty of being one of the people that thought Tony Scott was the lesser Scott brother.
Of the brothers. Yeah.
And this is a question I want to put to you.
Yeah.
I think I've changed my mind.
Oh, yeah.
I think Tony Scott made, pound for pound, better movies.
Shit, that's a statement. That's a statement. Fuck, I don't know. It just depends on how you measure. Like, do you measure in awards or do you measure in?
I'll tell you what I'll measure in. I'll measure in career-long consistency.
Career-long.
Yeah, because.
What do you mean by career-long though?
Because I would argue that
because Tony's a bit chop and change. He kind of almost has time off.
He does have time off, but I would argue that there is not there's not an objectively bad movie in his filmography.
So, no, but in that we're saying we're measuring it by bad movies. I haven't seen Domino.
Yeah, look, I'll tell you, there are a few I have not seen, but of the ones I have seen, it's not even that. I think people could argue that they didn't like it, but I don't think there is an objectively bad movie in there. Whereas I think Ridley Scott has made at least 4 or 5 objectively bad films.
Really bad. Like, really fucking bad. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So it's kind of like,
okay.
Maybe Tony Scott wasn't aiming as high because maybe, something like Unstoppable, which is fucking entertaining as hell, it is just about a runaway train.
That's my other sick day, is to do Unstoppable and Taking a Felon in the same day.
Nice. Good sick
day.
Train day. Yeah, I like it. I like it. So maybe he didn't set the bar as high. Like, but who cares, man? Because where he set it, he nailed it. Like, he really did. He made thoughtful, sometimes quite challenging, some other times not so much, but action adventure films.
Okay, I'm going to... My counter, my rebuttal, is the fact that, yes, he didn't, but Ridley, and I'm not taking sides here, but Ridley made such influential films, from Alien to Blade Runner...
Sure.
To Thelma and Louise.
I'm not saying that... Yeah, that's it. I'm not saying that there aren't, like, all-time greats in
Like
his.
Yeah,
but there are also a bunch of turds. And so
absolutely. But those are game changers.
Yeah, they are game changers, you're right.
Mass game changers.
I'm almost sad that Tony Scott didn't get the chance to make something like that. Because I feel like if you go back early days, I think True Romance probably holds up as maybe his best.
Yeah? You think so?
Man. I'd have to watch Last Boy Scout again.
For me, it's Last Boy Scout.
Because God, that is just a great movie.
Because you're combining our favourite writer as well, Tyson.
You're right. You're right.
You know, so from that, and I'm a huge fan of more Days of Thunder than I am of Top Gun. I like Days of Thunder better than I'll take Days of Thunder over Top Gun.
Okay,
and
sure.
The Fan is actually a really good movie. It's a remake, but it's still awesome. You know.
Well, see, there you go.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of Tony Scott.
Yeah. Well, so I think
it's a hard question.
Maybe this is the movie where he really kind of explored some of those demons that he obviously felt. Because you look towards the end of his career, and it was pretty. Like, it was fluff, but it was super. Yeah. It was super entertaining fluff, but it was fluff. Like, it was fluff, like I said, Deja Vu, Taking of Pelham, and Unstoppable are great examples of pretty easily digestible action films.
Yeah.
With maybe like a little bit of a thing.
You just need to get out of. Imagine Tony Scott now, get out of the 2000s.
Yeah.
And imagine his film now,
I'll be honest, I really enjoyed, and I've not seen it since I watched it the one time in 2002. I really enjoyed Spy Game.
Spy Game, really?
Yeah. And
I haven't seen it, I enjoyed Enemy of the State. I remember really liking that.
That's trashy.
I'll have to watch it again. It is trash, but I'll watch it again.
Anyway, let's so Tony Scott, I'm giving him the credit. I'm giving him credit where credit's due. I think he had a lot more to do with that style, and I think the style was a lot more deliberately chosen than maybe critics at the time gave it credit for.
Yeah, fair enough. I like that.
What else? I think the best sequence in the movie is the sequence right before, and I think it's the kidnapping sequence.
Yeah,
I think that's actually the best sequence in the movie, because like I said, I'm not a huge fan of all the stuff.
The torture.
The torture stuff.
I am because it takes a turn. I like it only because I like the dark, though. So I have a particular taste, and when it turns dark, instead of doing you've got to remember 2004 back then, had we had Taken yet?
No.
When was Taken?
I would say 2008, I'm going to say.
Oh, you're spot on the money. So we hadn't had that kind of dark yet. So this is where they he maybe pushed the line a little and did it. I don't think we needed the first two. I liked the club scene, and I think you needed the brother scene. But the fact that it went that dark that quick, it was a nice turn, and I really enjoyed it. But I totally agree. I liked it. It was good. I did like it.
Yeah, I just love the way. I mean, obviously, this is a clear indication of how deep in his POV we are. But I love the way that he processes his surroundings. I love the way that he becomes aware that something's about to happen when really there's no reason for him to be aware of that, because nothing has happened yet. Exactly. But he's just managed to put 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 together, and he's added up those things, and he has assessed the risk that it is most likely going to happen. And I love to death, I actually think it might be one of the best choices in the movie, that in order to tell her, he shoots a gun in the air and tells her to run.
And tells her to run.
Which, because he knows that, it's really lovely. That is a great little moment of symbolism, because that is their trust. That is the trust that they have developed for each other, is that he can shoot, he has taught her how to react to the shot, how not to freeze.
Yeah.
And it's such a personal thing, and I love that that's how he tells her that she's got to run.
Very true.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Surprising moments in this film of real emotion. I didn't think I would get choked up at the end, and I really do.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I really do.
Do you account that to the score, Tyson? Because that piece of music is interwoven throughout this movie, but I really enjoy that last piece of music.
I didn't even notice it, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, but good scores you probably shouldn't. So So it must have been doing its work really well.
Yeah, that's one of the that piece of music I just adore. What do they use? They use something too much. Do they use Claire de Lune? They do. They use Claire de Lune too much, I feel.
I wrote down Nessun Dorma at one point pops up, and it was really unnecessarily overkill.
Yeah.
He shoots somebody, and you hear da 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 da. I was like, what are we trying to do here? What's this all about? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, that nice piece of music, that at the end, for me, and you spoke about it before, and it is over dramatic, but it's the giving of the St. Jude necklace, and I'm not religious in any way, but it's her being adult enough to go, I think it's enough time has passed for me. I think I need to give you this, because it's in a scene that scene, by the way, is written so badly and so weird. It's quite uncomfortable to sit in, but she kind of makes it okay in the end, where she gives him that necklace and gives it to him. And this is, it's a gift from. It's very rare that you can tell that from that it's been a while since he's been given a present that isn't needed cleaning and gun oil.
Yeah. I just liked I liked how comfortable this movie was with the sappiness of the ending. Like, where they don't try to make Creasy like unpenetratable. They make him they allow him to be quite in touch with his emotions and the way he feels about her. And I love that bit where she's like, I love you, Creasy. You love me, don't you? And it's like, it's really sweet and it's very lovely. And I think it's just, this is the other thing I have with this movie. And I was kind of like hoping that I'm wrong, but it's a bit glorifying of, it's one of the only times where I've almost been like, violence, yes, is the answer. You know what I mean?
Is that because you want to change the ending to him going out in a blaze of glory?
Well, I don't know.
Or are you talking about him cleaning house? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, well, because he basically the film, so it's obviously, it's not just an action film. It's trying to do this thing. It's trying to talk about the how we can redeem ourselves and how like the importance of the innocence of life. Like, if you that there is something really noble about protecting that. But the way they choose to do it is for him to do these like real heinous shit, like real bad, like it's violent, it's angry, it's messy, but ultimately it's for a good cause at the end because it was to save an innocent life. Even though, actually, no, fuck that, because he didn't even know that she was alive for half of it.
No, he was doing it for revenge. It was a revenge thing.
Yeah. It's just funny because it's just one of those things where, like, you look at the end and it's like, okay, so violence did solve the day. Like, you know what I mean? And that's obviously a message that we don't like to hear, because usually a movie that tries to sell itself as this intelligent, I guess we could say, that this is trying to be intelligent.
Yeah.
If it's a dumb Chuck Norris movie, it's fine. They, sorry, Chuck Bronson or whatever. He'll blow a fucking rocket launcher out a window and then smile and then freeze frame A-OK style. And that's different. But this movie's trying to be quite. I think it's trying to be to operate on a deeper level. Yet it still ends up giving us the violence is the answer. Violence solved this. Is that weird? Do you find that weird?
No, I don't find that weird. I don't, because this is where, I don't know, this is going to bring up a whole different topic, but sometimes violence is the answer, and I don't like saying that. But, you come across violence begets violence. There are obviously other ways of solving this. I can hear my wife just cringing at what I'm saying. Because it's true. You don't want to do those things, but in saying that, and in watching a trailer that we watched last week with your girl Jennifer
Garner,
Peppermint. If my wife and my son were to be taken away from me, I would to just drop off the face of the earth, get trained up for fucking how many years, and just come back with a vengeance. I would do that.
Yeah,
I would.
but see, that movie isn't going to present it. I can almost guarantee that she's going to have a breakdown at one point, and it's going to be like, what have I become? Rah, rah, rah. But she'll still get her revenge, and she'll still kill the people responsible, but it won't bring anyone back, and so it'll be,
fine.
and she'll have to come to peace with that.
Yeah.
It's interesting that in this movie, all the heinous shit that he's done led to a phone call from somebody saying, "Oh, hey, guess what? She's actually not dead." So it's almost like his heinous shit brought her back to life because she would have been dead
otherwise.
Fuck. So the violence is actually solved. Not just it's not just eye for an eye here. It's actually solved a problem and made a right.
That's really good point. I'd never thought of that.
So I know. So it actually, at the end, I was a little bit rubbed the wrong way. I was like, well, because that's not my worldview at all.
Yeah.
Yet it's undeniable there. It's in this movie. It is undeniable. If he hadn't have done what he had done,
what he did, she would
while
be dead.
he thought she was dead. If he hadn't have done that, she would actually be dead. He
brought her back to life.
He basically brought her back to life by putting a bomb up a dude's ass.
Yes. Fucking hell. I don't get a life for your life, Tyson. I don't get that. This is the one thing I don't like about this film. Why does he go with them? Why not go out in a blaze of glory? Why not rock up while the brother goes up next to him and then just open up your jacket to a fucking chest of C4?
There's actually
why not do that?
There's no reason for that. It's
I don't like him staring out the window.
It's poetry. It's attempting to make poetry of it, and I don't like it at all. I don't think it's necessary.
Guess what, motherfuckers?
Well, because I feel like he has to die. The character has to die.
Yeah,
but you're right. He shouldn't. I don't know. Is it better that he just dies quietly in the backseat of the car? Well, it kind of is his terms because they were going to take him to fucking probably torture the shit out of him. So he dies before they get the chance. But you're right. I wanted to see him once she was in the car safely, turn around and go, "All right, motherfuckers, let's do this."
Let's do this. Exactly.
Yeah. And he might not have lasted long because he was obviously struggling, but he would have taken one or two with him.
I wanted the masterpiece. I wanted the angel of death to rain down on this guy, like him and everyone else. Because what's stopping them from killing them later or going after them later? Does that make sense?
Good point.
Do you know what I mean? And what's going to stop them from kidnapping someone else?
Good point. It's a film that is far more interested in the symbolism of the moments
of what's going on.
Yeah. And it's part of that whole thing. If I want to go along with the operatic nature of it, if I want to buy into the lines like he's going to paint his fucking masterpiece of death or whatever, if I'm on board for that, the ending works. The ending is actually quite poignant.
It does. It works for it.
Yeah. If I'm not, if I'm feeling cynical, my first reaction is, why didn't he just strap a grenade and then when he gets in the car just go, "Hey motherfuckers," and pull the pin and see us later? 100%. I'm with you 100%. And it's all it is to make the movie feel more
it's that ending poignant. Where he dies in the cab in the back. That's so true.
I'm not saying it makes it worse, any better or any worse. It just changes your perspective based on how you want to see it, I think. I like the I just want a couple of things just before we wrap up. I like the bullet.
You like the bullet?
I really like the bullet.
Yeah, I like that as well because it was the bullet that kind of kicked him out of. You don't really know what's going on at that point because it is such a drunken haze.
I love the way I love Denzel's drunk acting. By the way, his drunk acting is mint, mint. There's something about it. Just the way he looks at himself in a mirror with so much hatred and anger. Yeah. Oh, but subtly, like it's just all in his eyes. Denzel is a national treasure.
Yeah. Is it what's the pilot movie? Was it Flight where he gets drunk?
Oh, Flight's really hard to watch.
It is. But he does drunk acting in that as well.
Yeah, he does. Maybe
he does that same.
It's his niche.
Exactly. If you've got a gift, use it.
Yeah,
but yeah, the bullet, you're right. Like, there's such symbolism in there, and it's the phone call to Christopher Walken.
Oh, I love the phone call. The phone call. And he's so aware. He knows when he says, hey, Chrissy, what have you been shooting at? He knows.
Yeah, exactly. He's spot on.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'm sorry I woke you up. He's like, and that's what, like, true friendship right there. He goes, no, man, I was watching TV. You can tell it's 3 a.m, like it's 3, 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, man, I was watching TV. So, yeah. And it was so beautiful.
Yeah, it's a really nice moment, and I like that he hung on to it because he knew that it was important. There was a reason. Like, you find out something like that happens. It's like anything. It's like I think if I was ever in, I mean that's a bad way of thinking about it. But let's say, for instance, I was doing. I'm trying to think of a similar kind of thing. But if I was mountain climbing, right?
Sure.
And my something broke, and I started falling, and I just got caught on a carabiner, and somehow it saved me.
Yeah. You would keep that.
That thing is coming with me everywhere I go.
Every time.
Everywhere I go for the rest of my life, because that is the thing. And so, it's different because it was self-imposed, but I think it carries so much weight with it, that moment where he's carrying this bullet and he says, no, this is going to stay with me until I know why.
I know why I need to.
I got this second chance.
That giving it to the father, like, I liked that as well. I was like, hey, this... I wasn't a huge fan of the line that he says that a bullet
never lies. Bullet never lies.
I don't like that.
Well, because I feel like it's just, we get it, we understand it. You're speaking the subtext a little bit too plainly now.
Yeah, exactly. But I love that he gave it to him and said, "Hey, let's see if what Lady Fate has in store for you."
Exactly.
And go from there. And it was really good. Yeah, it's really good.
And the last thing.
Yeah.
This is one of those movies that should have ended about a minute earlier than it did as well. I did not care about that last couple of scenes at all. Not one bit. I was like, I don't care that this guy has been shot. And I was like, who is this guy that shot him? And I'm like, I know I've seen him in a few scenes, but I could not tell you his name or his importance.
What the fuck is going on? Like, what's going on? And the fact that it came up with so-and-so died. And I was like, what?
Yeah, and I was like, hang on, are these real people?
You're not saying this is real.
Yeah, this movie should have ended the moment John Creasy died.
Yeah.
The moment his eyeballs glaze over in the backseat of the car. I would allow one more shot of the St. Jude's medal in his hand.
Yeah.
Cut to black. That's all it should have been. It was like...
Tyson, that's what we should have called that podcast, Cut to Black. That's a good...
It's a bit late now.
Name. Damn it.
So it's definitely a bit late.
Cut to Black. That's a fucking rap name. Anyway,
but do you know what, like, I don't like how we had to see the Jude's medal fall to the ground. I don't like how we had to see that he, like, the text telling us that he definitely died. It's like, no, we get it. He died in the backseat of the car. Because the alternative is too sad to think about anyway. So even if we're sitting there, like, we're not going to think that he's only passed out, because if he's only passed out, he's going to be tortured for 48 hours and then eventually might bleed out. So we don't want to think about that. So we're immediately going to jump to, no, he's died. It's fine. And I don't care. The voice, who cares? He is so irrelevant.
Absolutely.
The villains in this story are actually irrelevant.
They are. Absolutely.
So,
they can be faceless. That's fine. It's more about Creasy and Peter.
Absolutely.
And I would rather... instead of seeing what happens to the voice, see Peter and the mother
Peter and the mum. Yeah. Because I really liked really liked Creasy's and Rada Mitchell's relationship. I think that was really nice too.
There was more between them than there was between her.
Yeah, because they're fucking actors. Like, they understand how to do anything. He was just a mess.
Fucking cardboard bastard.
Cardboard.
All right.
That's I think I'm done, man. I think that's all I want to say about Man on Fire.
I didn't realize we were going to. That was quite a good talk. I like that. That was good.
There's some good stuff in it, man. I think it's a really ambitious, super ambitious movie that I just don't think works on all levels, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I can tell, like, this is a movie that people totally walk past. Unless you're a Denzel fan, people are going to be like, I don't know what that is. That looks like shit. Fuck off. And what's going to deter them as well is the 2 hours 30.
No, tell me, like, seriously. You see 2 hours 45 for a crime thriller, you're like, no, I'm fine.
Why? You know.
Exactly. That's the question you end up asking. Why? What could possibly need to go that long?
That's all right. Watch it if you're watch it. Give it a watch.
Give it a watch.
Listen, you know what? Don't watch it. Just listen to this podcast.
Well, I will. What I am going to say straight up is don't watch it on Netflix. You've got to find it on DVD or on Blu-ray.
Yeah, clearly.
Because you're not getting the actual film, and that's not cool. That's fucked up.
Gypped, man. You're getting gypped. It's not the way it was meant to be seen.
No, and like you owe it to the filmmakers to see a film the way it was intended to be seen.
It's like seeing Lawrence of Arabia in the box TV version.
Oh yeah, go and watch it on an old tube television.
Do that.
Exactly. Well,
I haven't seen Lawrence of Arabia. Have you seen Lawrence of Arabia?
I've seen enough to know that I want to see more of it.
Okay.
I've never.
It's on the list.
Well, it used to be on free-to-air television. It was a midday movie, extravaganza. So I've sat, and considering that thing is like 4.5 hours, I know I've watched like a good solid 2.5 straight hours of it.
Oh, really?
And many other little bits and pieces of it. And so now what I'm actually doing. Is I'm waiting to see it in the cinema now, because I know the Astor shows it every now and then. So
it does, yeah.
I'm going to wait until it's on, and then I'm going to go and enjoy all 4.5 hours of it in the comfort of the non-comfortable Astor seats.
Oh, and no, they've gotten a bit better.
They're all right.
Look, they're not. I have a question. Does the US have gold class?
They do. They have something similar to gold class, but I do not know what it's called. If you are an American listener,
tell us what it is.
Can you please write in? Because I know they've got something similar to gold class. Gold class is when you get a fancy chair and you can order food,
and there's only
it's a smaller cinema. Yeah, exactly.
Which is fucking awesome. All right, moving on, Tyson. That was Man on Fire.
That was Man on Fire. Man on Fire. We're going to skip. What did you watch this week? Because I don't know about you, Nick.
Trailers. I didn't watch anything.
It's been a crazy week, so I have not watched anything this week.
Good deal.
And so I am looking forward to watching many things this week.
Do you know there's a Taken TV series?
Oh, I mean, what?
Why the fuck would they do
What's the fucking point of that?
And his name's Brian Mills. As if who's this actor?
Is it a prequel? It must be a prequel, surely.
Clive Standen.
Well, doesn't he just sound like a superstar in the making?
He's definitely not a Liam Neeson, I'll give you that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, shall we do what do we watch this week, Tyson? Because I have mine. My Crossing the Streams.
Yeah, let's Crossing the Streams.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, due to the fact that we did Man of Fire, I was going down the list of Denzel films because it's no secret that I am a Denzel fan. I am going to watch Roman J. Israel Esquire. I will watch it. Was I saddened by American Gangster? Yes, I was. Did I enjoy John Q? Yes, I did. But what I would like you to watch, people. Did you like that? That was
John Q. Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Safe House. Watch it, man. I loved it. And maybe it's because it's got my boyfriend in it, but that's got nothing to do with it. Actually, it doesn't. But Safe House, 2012. You can see it on Google Play, on the PlayStation channel, or you can download it on iTunes. It's only going to cost you like $4. Like
$4?
What are you going to get? What else are you going to get?
What a bargain.
You're going to rent it for $4.
What else are you going to get for $4? I mean, really, when we're thinking about it.
Honestly, you're going to get a cup of coffee. A really expensive cup of coffee.
Yeah, it's pretty standard, I think, these days.
But so Denzel plays a CIA renegade who's been on the run for like a decade, and he finds out that he's just about to be taken and ends up turning himself in, which is fantastic. And the man who has to look after him, who doesn't get any, like, he's run of the mill, he's trying to move up the ladder in the corporation, is Ryan Reynolds' character.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ryan Reynolds' character just is a lot more smarter than he turns out to be, and just jumps on this thing, and it's so good. And he ends up helping Denzel's character because everyone's trying to kill him, and he's just trying to do his job and keep him alive. And there's backstabbing. It turns into a thriller. You don't know who's on whose side. There's action. It's boss. I love it.
Yeah, I did enjoy that film, to be honest. I wasn't sure I would, but...
and you know what sold me? Watch the trailer of this thing. It comes out with... what's the Jay-Z song? I fucking... God damn it.
I don't know.
It's a Jay-Z song.
You're asking the wrong man.
wrong there. It's a song that came out with that, and it was so good. It was on the money, and it just made the trailer. It was so good. But anyway, watch it. It's good.
So that's Safe House. Where can you watch Safe House?
Safe House. You can watch it. I just lost the page. God damn it, Nicholas. You can watch it on Google Play. You can watch it on the PlayStation, or you can watch it by renting it on iTunes.
Very good.
You're gonna have to rent it, which is okay. Look, to be honest, trust me, you're gonna like it. Rent it, you'll like it.
That's high praise.
Yeah,
high praise.
What do you got?
All right. Well, I mean, this might not be a particularly inspired choice, but I wanted to just recommend another revenge thriller.
No. Is it good? Is it badass?
Oh, it is. It is the most badass. And I hope we've probably recommended it already before, but it's a film that we've talked about many times. But that is, of course, John Wick.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. Now, I think we've probably recommended this before, but I'm going to recommend it again anyway, because as far as a revenge thriller goes, it is probably one of the most intriguing revenge thrillers that have kind of made its way into Hollywood in the last however long, because it takes that trope that seems to be the kind of the really common one, which is the wife or the child murdered and then the man striking revenge, and this is about a dog, and
it is,
but the way that it happens is it feels so truthful, and it feels so important, and I mean, I know that's ridiculous to say so, but it almost feels harder to watch as a viewer than if it was a wife or a child.
Yeah.
Which says a lot about how desensitized we are to that as a plot device, I think.
Yeah.
So I think it's really clever the way in John Wick that they put so much importance to this dog, and when bad shit happens to the dog, John Wick decides, I'm back in the game, baby, because these guys deserve to get fucking put in the ground. And do they ever?
Do they get put in the ground?
Yeah, John Wick is quickly becoming like, if this is an action series that goes for a very long time, we're getting the third one soon. I think they're getting better with each one. I thought John Wick 1 was a really solid film. I thought John Wick 2, it nearly cracked my top 10 of last year. It was. And
it didn't crack mine only because I haven't seen it yet. Goddamn.
Oh man, John Wick 2 is one of my favorite action movies of the last decade, easily. So I cannot wait for number 3 because I think they're getting better and better. But why not go back to where it all started? You can watch that on Stan quite easily. Stan the Man, John Wick.
Free. Watch it on Stan.
That's it.
Yeah, man.
Oh, well, that's going to wrap us up, Nicholas.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was fun. I actually enjoyed that.
That was fun.
You turned my day around. You turned it around.
This is what we do here at Tys and Videotape. We turn people's days around.
Hopefully we've made you smile, made you laugh, made you want to watch fucking Man of Fire.
Why not? All 2 hours and 45 minutes of it.
Jesus Christ, if you've got that amount of time.
Oh, God, I envy you, yeah, for sure. Hey, Nick, why don't you just tell people again where they can find us, buddy?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to follow us on all of the socials, we are on Facebook, we are on Insta, we are on Twitter. If you would like to tell someone about our podcast, teach them where you can find it. That is, iTunes or Casts or any other of the other places you can find podcasts.
But if they're
TuneIn Radio, that's the one. TuneIn Radio, all those. But if they only watch YouTube, you can find us on YouTube.
You can find us on YouTube.
Well, there you go.
And you can send us an email if you'd like to request a film that you'd like to hear us talk about, or if you even just want to send something into our mailbag and hear us chat about something in particular. We'll happily read out that mail on the air and have a bit of a chat about what you've asked. You can get us at nicktysandvideotape@gmail.com. That's nicktysandvideotape@gmail.com.
And I spell Nick N-I-C.
He does.
N-I-C. And T-Y-S is Tyson.
That is correct. That is correct. But also, you can just jump on and write a thing on our Facebook page, or you can tweet at us or anything like that. We'll be happy. We'd love to hear from you. Did we decide on next week? We did decide on next week.
We did.
Oh, dear Lord. Nicholas, what are we in for?
Okay, look, we decided we're gonna do something that no one likes, and we're gonna do Wild Wild West.
We are. I think it's been a while since we've done an objectively bad movie and just had a bit of a laugh about it and kind of, and maybe just hung a little shit on it. But you know, I don't like hanging shit on movies. I like to go into everything with a positive frame of mind. So who knows? I might end up really liking Wild Wild West after not seeing it since 2000.
Since 1999.
Yeah. So
there you go. Hey, Barry Sonnenfeld directing. He's directed some good stuff before.
He has.
Maybe we're in for a treat.
Maybe we are in for a treat. So if you want to hear us, get Wiggity Wiggity Wild with Will Smith and
Wild West.
It's Kevin Kline, isn't it? I love Kevin Kline.
I love Kevin Kline.
And it's Kenneth Branagh. I'm gonna really like this movie. I feel like I'm gonna really like it.
And it's Salma Hayek as well. There's no way.
Oh man, my interest is peaked. So yeah, tune in next week to hear us discuss Wild Wild West.
Oh my god, we're gonna watch Wild Wild West.
We are. All right, but until then, Nicholas.
Tyson, it's been fun.
Always, man.
I'll see you next week, buddy.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.